What up, what up, faithful? Welcome to the Forever Faithful Nation podcast. We are your hosts. I am Controversial Corey. That's my homie LG. What's up, LG?
Man, what's the deal, fellas, man? Hey, major moves today, major moves, man.
You already know. Down at the bottom, that's the homie breaking news. How you feeling tonight, man? Breaking news, you good? Oh, we gone. We'll get him back in a second, I'm sure. All right, so screw it. We're gonna get right into it. Myles Garrett to the Los Angeles Rams. It's gonna have some consequences for us. Um, First thoughts when you saw the trade go down, LG. What was your first thoughts when you saw this trade?
Honestly, bro, I wasn't too surprised because they said the Rams had looked into getting him for the trade. Hey, we was all shocked by Todd Simpson. Todd Simpson almost was, that pick was going to Cleveland. Just because, like I said, we heard the rumors that they had checked in on Myles Garrett. I I did not see the trade happening, but sometimes rumors are actually true. So I mean, I wasn't shocked about it. I just was like, okay, it's a done deal.
Yeah. We talked about it a few weeks ago, and I was hell bent. We need to do whatever we can to block this trade. Well, clearly we didn't do nothing but due diligence because that's all John Lynch does. Breaking news. How you feeling tonight, man?
What's going on, boys? How you guys doing?
We here, man. We here. So, when you saw this go down earlier, because I ain't see you, you wasn't in the group chat today. I'm sure you was busy. When you saw this, what was the first thing that went to your mind?
It was a four letter adjective, and I will just leave it at that. But listen, I don't want to have to play good cop, but I feel like you guys are going to paint me into that corner. Like
That's what. Yep.
we have to understand a couple things here. Like number one, they gave up Jared Verse, defensive rookie of the year, two-time Pro Bowler, and he's only 24 years old. We don't have anybody on the roster that even comes close to that, right? At the defensive end position. Then they gave up an additional first round pick, which, granted, it's probably going to be pick 28 or later, but it's a first round pick and additional compensation. If you guys know what that is, I haven't seen all the details.
Second and third.
Second and third fully come out, but here's the biggest thing for me. As soon as I seen this, you guys know that I'm a stats nerd. So I crunched the numbers. The biggest thing for me is Trent Williams has had quite a bit of success against Jared Verse because Verse, although he's only 265 pounds, plays with a lot of leverage and strength. As he's gotten older, Myles Garrett has actually fared really well versus Trent Williams. Not, he has, I believe, I want to say in the last 2 or 3 seasons that they've went up against each other, like a 36% pass rush win rate, which is just not very good. But I mean, listen, that Rams D line was going to be a problem regardless. If they didn't get Garrett, and it was Jared Verse and Agent Zero, it was going to be a problem. So does it change the game plan on how the Niners beat the Rams? No, it's going to be just like just how Mac Jones drew it up. Where are they weak? They're not weak on the defensive line, and they're not weak outside, right through the middle. Their linebackers are questionable. Their safeties are questionable. So if we're going to beat them, we're going to beat them with a lot of over the middle, a lot of quick slants, a lot of in-cutting routes. And you know what? I hope we have the receivers to do that, and I hope that our O-line can hold up. Because like I said, I still think that the Niners have a really good shot. Like I said, the one thing, like Niner fans, like, oh my God, like they're ready to like forget the season. It's like, remember, we went 12-5 with basically a half a team last year. If all these guys that we believe to be studs, a la, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, Kittle, if all these guys can stay healthy, and once again, I know it's a big if, but if all these guys stay healthy, I think we got a puncher's chance with anybody. Is this what we wanted? Absolutely not. Totally agree with you. But like I said, we have to be realistic, right? It's not about giving up 2 firsts. Because if you would have went to Cleveland and said, hey, I'll give you 2 firsts, I'd rather have Jared Verse than a first. So at that point, we've already had this discussion. Would you give up 3 firsts? You're like, no, 30-year-old. So it's like we have to be realistic about the fact that we didn't have enough in the cupboard to get this done. Go ahead, LG.
But see, this is the part that Corey. This is where, like I say, I'm not taking breaking news side, but I'm gonna say it like this: people fail to realize Myles Garrett also had a full no trade clause, so he had to sign off on where he was gonna go.
He wanted a contender.
I don't know if he would have signed off on the Niners. Like I said,
I think he would have.
I mean,
my issue, LG?
I mean, that's hypothetical. You don't know that. So who's to say he would have and who's to say he wouldn't have? So I don't want to get into the hypotheticals because he had a full no trade clause too. That may have been some of the determining factor about where he went and what that conversation was too.
Well, look, the issue, and you're not wrong. He got a full no trade clause. The issue I have with that is the list came out a week ago. It was 3 teams involved trying to get him. You know whose name wasn't on that list? Us. It was the Eagles, the Rams, and I can't remember the third team, but it was one other team. Hold on.
List? Were we on his list though? That's what I'm saying.
We'll never know if we didn't even make the call to try to get in the trade discussions. We'll never know.
Oh, I promise you, we were monitoring that. Like I said, the problem is though, who's the young player that we're going to give up that's equivalent to Jared Verse? I
hear what you're saying, and like I said, I put out a video earlier today. Like I said, I'm tired of excuses. The Rams figure it out, and I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about from the franchise, from Lynch, from Shanahan. When the Rams go all in, the Rams find a way. Cap space. They ain't never got it, but somehow they find a way to make a move. Draft capital. They find it. Young player. Okay. They find it. You figure it out. I understand what you're saying. We don't have a Jared Verse. You're 100% right. We don't have a Jared Verse, but you do what you can to make sure you get it. I'll take you back to 21. Matthew Stafford was supposed to be a 49er. What did we do? We sat around on our damn hands and we let the Rams rush the phones and beat us to the punch. The Rams constantly beating John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan to the punch. Now, you're right. You said the defensive line is going to be a problem regardless if they got Myles Garrett or not. You 100% right. But I'm going to tell you how they went from a problem to unblockable because I promise you Aaron Donald's coming back. I promise you. So now you've added Myles Garrett.
I don't think Aaron Donald's coming back. And to be honest with you, like he's a generational talent, so no disrespect. But when you look at what they have there in the middle already with Fisk and Poona Ford, I mean, they have their front D line is unequivocally the best in the NFL. It's not even, especially now that you got Garrett there and Agent Zero, they got the best line in the league. What I was going to go with, and once again, it's a horrible trade for the Niners, right? But I'm just trying to say, okay, let's try to look at the other side of the spectrum here. I actually think we would have been more in trouble if they would have got A.J. Brown, because to me, that would have made them more dangerous than a better pass rusher because they already had a good D-line.
But
you know what I mean? We don't know what you're going to get from Devontae. We're still not sure what Nakua's season is going to look like with all the legal trouble.
But you're my guy when it comes to the trenches. The offensive line garbage.
Listen, like I said, I'm not even going to sit here and try and put, red and gold haze glasses on. Myles Garrett going to the Rams is a problem. All I'm saying is you have to understand, like, everybody wants the player, right? Like last year, remember trade deadline, you're like, man, Trey Hendricks, we got to have him, give him the first. And it's like, yeah, I understand. I get what you're saying. But at the same time, you have to look at all, like the whole crystal ball. If their trade package involved a first-round pick and a Pro Bowl defensive end, that means that Cleveland wanted somebody, because it's already past the draft, they wanted somebody that was going to be able to step in and be that quote-unquote kind of next face of the franchise type guy. We don't have anybody like that. You think they're going to take Mykel Williams over Jared Verse? Of course not.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So like I said, what I'm going to do is the positive spin I'm going to put on it is I think the Rams would have actually been better off trading for Brown because the defensive line was already a problem. It was already a problem. Now, Garrett, once again, I'm not taking anything away from his greatness. He is phenomenal, but I think for us and the way that we play, I think that AJ Brown would have been the harder piece for us to handle because our cornerbacks have looked shaky at times.
When you say the way that we play, what do you mean by that? Because we used to be a running team, and now we're
Well,
not.
what I mean by that is if you look at our wide receivers, right? We or excuse me, like our corners. So typically we don't play like press man. So we play a lot of bump and run. And when you have like if you look at AJ, perfect example, over the course of the last 3-4 years, he's torched the Niners because he knows he's a veteran. He knows where to sit down in the pockets. He knows, where to go to get, to get open. And the bottom line is the only bad game that I can ever remember him having against the Niners was last year in the playoffs. And with all the other distractions and everything else, I mean, that guy left 100 yards out there on the field between drops and everything else. So all I'm saying is, as Niners fans, don't sell your season tickets just yet. We know it's a long season. Injuries happen. All I'm saying is the Rams D line was going to be a problem regardless. It went from out of 10, it went from a 9 out of 10 to now a 10 out of 10. It was going to be a problem regardless. What I'm saying is them passing on AJ and the Patriots picking up AJ, I think in some ways might actually be a benefit to us, the Niners, on D.
You know what? So I'm gonna kind of go a little Corey right now because I'm just thinking about this now in hindsight, right? The Browns kind of knew that they were gonna trade him, right?
Mhm.
And like you said, they wanted a quote unquote good player or the 2 first conversation, whatever the case may be, right? Now looking back, man, we traded our first round pick. If that was the case, why in the hell did we hold on to that first round pick? We should, like I said, I'm kind of going Corey now. We should have at least been in that conversation of these are the teams that attempted to trade for him before the draft, right? And I actually like the Rams' approach to things. And if you think about it, right, let's just 3 football guys who has hit on more mid-round picks in the last, I'm gonna say 10 years. Niners, Rams, right? Anywhere 3rd, 4th, 5th round is pure gold for the Rams. They don't give a damn about first round picks. If we had knew that we were going to be in the back of the draft, we could have went to Cleveland and said, "Hey, even if we ain't on Miles's radar, let's at least make an offer and see if he changes his mind or something." Because what's been the biggest issue year in, year out, nobody's on the other opposite end of Bosa, and teams can double him. You have to move him around.
So I got hurt.
Yeah, you got to scheme him up
double teams
because there's nobody on the other end. And if we were in the back end of the draft, we knew that we probably wouldn't get the guy that will fall to us anyway. That's when we should have already been on the phone trying to make that trade. If we're gonna make that trade, but if your biggest concern has been putting somebody in the Bosa, I feel like I'm like Corey. Like we should have at least gauged it to see what was going on. And y'all heard me say it before. How do you beat your opponent? You beat them to the punch. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. People had been hearing the rumors about, the AJ trade. Once I heard the Miles trade, another way you beat a good defense with better offense. I would have been like, wait. What did the Patriots offense was? Hey, let me beat it. Because like I said, that's how you beat a good offense with a good defense. You have a better offense. And I think that's what we could have did. And I'm not gonna say I'm content with the wide receiver room that we have right now, but once that trade was made, if we counter with AJ, then maybe we do, score another touchdown or another field goal and beat them. Because outside of what is it, McDuffie they traded for, like you say, Brian, that secondary can be torched. And
middle of the field, the linebackers still are not great.
Yeah, so you add in an AJ to already a Mike Evans, to a Kittle coming back, the way they scheme up a CMC, and maybe we could beat their defense with better offense. And like I said, that was the second part that I kind of like. I don't like the fact that rumor has been out there for weeks on weeks on weeks, and for a team that I'm gonna say has struck gold in your middle rounds, why are you holding on to first round picks when we could have easily given up 2 first round picks for AJ? We got $72 million in cap. We got the space for it, because he just signed that big contract. So like, why are we holding on to first round draft picks? That's not where we make our bread and butter. I think they're a little gun shy because remember we traded 3 firsts for Trey Lance. I think they're a little gun shy. And think about it. We traded back 3 times in this last draft, and we didn't even gain anything from trading back. Like,
so can I jump in here real quick, and then Corey, I'll let you go. So I just want to respond to a couple of the things you said. So the biggest difference between the Niners and the Rams the last 5 years in the draft, and I'm not to be negative or not to disagree with you, LG, but has actually been day 1 and day 2. The Niners, as we've talked about on this podcast repeatedly, are horrific when it comes to drafting on day 1 and day 2. They do not have a good track record. But if you look at the Rams, actually, it's not day 3. It's day 1 and day 2. It's the Jared Verse. It's the Brandon Fisk. It's not about drafting good pieces. It's about, as Corey just said, drafting difference makers. And the Rams have done that. Agent Zero, Byron Young, like they have consistently drafted first, second, and third round guys. These are all first, second, third round guys on that defensive line, other than Poona Ford. They're all high picks.
They've hit goal later picks. So they haven't had they've only had 1 first round pick in the last 10 years. That was the Verse.
No, they've had a couple recently.
So Jared Verse was a 2024 first round pick. Brandon Fisk was their second round pick.
Yeah, second, third, and fourth round is where they make their money at.
First and second. Blake Corum was their third round pick. The year previous, 2023, Byron Young, Agent Zero, Edge. He was their third round pick. Kobe Turner, he was a third round pick, same draft, 2023. Go back to 2022. Kobe Durant, safety, fourth round. And then if you want to say a steal or whatever, Kyron Williams went in the fifth round of that draft.
I know it's later, but that's where they strike their goal at. That's why they don't care about first round picks. So like I say, other than the Rams, the Niners are pretty much on par with them with striking goal in those middle rounds. So why hold on to first round picks and that's not where you strike goal at?
I think 2 things here, and I'm just going to say it. It could be wrong, could be blasphemous, but I'm just going to say it. I think the first thing is remember that that Lynch and Shanahan still have somebody that they have to answer to. Could be wrong, but as Corey's brought up plenty of times, neither of these guys have long-term futures with the Niners as of right now. You really think Jed York, if you're still determining, to be determined, is going to say, hey, yeah, go ahead and trade 3 first-round picks, essentially the future of this franchise on a win-now type player that's going to turn 30 this year. I think that there's a lot going on here right behind the scenes that we just don't know about.
But
I really do.
Breaking news. You know what I'm gonna say, bro? And this is where I'm gonna kind of go back. Corey, I'll let you jump in a second, bro. This is where I kind of go back on that, right? I think that there is some stuff going on behind the scenes, but you got to remember, not only are these guys not on long-term deals, but now you got a CMC who's over 30, Kittle who's over 30. You got Trent Williams who's 30-something years old.
Got to replace these guys.
But you should be in a win-now mode. You should be in a win-now mode. You deal with the fallout of that later.
Hey, listen, you don't have to convince me, LG.
And these are all
Corey said. When Corey said add one person, who did I say? Myles Garrett. Like, I was all about Myles Garrett because the biggest thing that's going to help the Niners right now, listen, Dre Greenlaw is nice. Having Fred Warner's back's nice. Romello Height is nice. But the bottom line is you put another double-digit sack guy across from Bosa to where, as you mentioned yourself eloquently, they can't just direct and steer all the attention towards him. It makes a huge difference, right? I do think that Odigizua is going to make a big difference, right? Because you're going to have a hard time one-on-one blocking him, but somebody else is going to have to step up from an edge rush perspective. And I think, listen, it sucks. I hate it. But the bottom line is the Niners are going to be shopping at the bargain bin. They want to roll over a certain amount of cap for future. Now, is there going to be cap casualties? Yeah, no, I hear you. Is there going to be cap casualties and things like that? Good players that are older guys that can still play, but people don't want to, pay? Absolutely. And I think that that's where you're going to see the Niners treading water. But the one kudos I will give to John Lynch and Shanahan, for as bad as they've been at drafting in the first and second round, if you look at the players they've traded for, their pro personnel evaluations have been on point. Almost all the guys they've traded for, whether it's Trent or CMC, even lesser guys like Sky Moore, they've all been guys that have contributed and been good players. So let's just wait and see. Before the season starts, we're going to have the same conversation. And you know what? We can hit the panic button then.
Well, before the season starts, I ain't here yet. We talking right now. And right now, we on some bullshit.
Panic!
Look, it's like this. What you just said is where I was going to go. He's not good at drafting. John Lynch sucks at drafting, but he's a damn good he's a damn good trader. So why? So go make some trades, man. So the core of this team is old as hell and coming off injuries. All of them. Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw's back, but we ain't seen Dre Greenlaw for real since the Super Bowl. Trent Williams. Fred's not old, but he's coming off injury and he's part of the core.
Yeah, he's got a point.
George Kittle coming off Achilles. We don't know when we're gonna see George. We don't.
Right.
They're blowing smoke with George right now. We don't know. Christian McCaffrey's a year older, coming off of a year where he had to literally
400
do everything.
touches.
Yeah. So that's gonna bring it down. This team, all of our superstars are old, and we have done nothing to replace them. Not even if it's at their position. We haven't hit a superstar. We have no talent. And when I say no talent, I mean superstars, 27 and under. If you want to consider Brock, that's fine. That's fine. I'll give you Brock. I'll give you Brock.
My top six quarterback, don't mess with him.
But look, either way, you have Brock. You have nobody else. There's nothing else. So all this rolling over cap space and don't want to mess with the future. There is no future here.
Right.
You should have tore it down. You should have tore it down last year or the year before if you was going to do this. You are now in a win now mode. The window was slightly open.
But if you were going to have, hold on, let me ask you boys, because you're both very, very knowledgeable. I don't consider us the average fan. So Corey, answer this honestly. Not as a disgruntled Niner fan, and answer this honestly. As you've said yourself, we got one superstar that's under 27. If you had one superstar, you're going to start a team, and you had one superstar, and you could pick the position that superstar was going to be at, what position is it going to be?
I know where you're going, but
I'm just saying. Listen, there's one. You can say the sky's falling. You can say all that. But
he's
listen,
dependent on everything around him.
True, but there's one guy that's younger that's only getting better, which is only going to make this offense better. And let's be honest, the offensive line can't be a lot worse than it was last year. I expect Pooney to take a huge step forward. He played half the year hurt.
The left guard's coming off a broken neck.
Well,
like Kurt Angle, he's coming off a broken freaking neck.
Unless Colby wins the job, yeah, maybe.
Look, Corey, but you know what I'm gonna say, dude? Now, this is why I'm kind of leaning toward Corey, man. Damn, whatever's going on, bro. You only get so many championship windows, right? If your team exceeded the way they exceeded last year, you need to be in win now mode. And if nothing else, from a fan perspective, you can say to yourself, hey, they swung for the fences, they went for it. We didn't get it, but they swung for it. You cannot go to your fan base and say you had a season that was unexpected last season. You know what you got returning. You know you got players that were hurt last year returning. And this year, we're just going to sit back on our laurels and say, okay, well, you know what? we exceeded expectations last year, and that was good enough. That's not how you do it. You swing for the fences, bro, and you see the teams in your own division swinging for the fences. That's the most egregious part about it.
If you're not gonna swing for the fences, you do not re-sign Trent Williams. You do not continuously bring Juice back. You do not hold on. Hell, if you're not going for the championship, and this is my favorite player in the league,
Mike.
You don't sign Mike Evans, but my favorite player in the league is Fred Warner. If you're not going for the Super Bowl, trade that dude and get something for him. Tear it down. There is no in between. You're gonna be the Steelers if you stay in between, to where you can't draft in the high part of the round because you're too good.
Listen, can we acknowledge though something here real quick? And listen, I'm all for, you know what, F them coaches. They won 12 games last year and we're literally one game away from being the 1 seed with basically half a roster. So it's like I hear what you're saying, but it's like the sky is falling thing is a little much.
Can I counter
Go
that?
for it.
The Los Angeles Rams were one play away from the Super Bowl. What did they do? They went out and they got a all-time great.
Right.
And if they lost, breaking news.
And a Pro Bowl corner. And a Pro Bowl corner.
But if they lost a quarter of the pieces that we did last year, their starting quarterback for 8 games, their number 1 and number 2 wideouts, their starting middle linebacker, their number 1 pass rusher, what do you think their record's going to look like? So all I'm saying is, remember, it's a long season.
You can't bank on that.
I'm not banking on that. What I'm saying is, understand, number one, and the NFL more than anything else is a battle of attrition. And if we want to look at one thing and say, hey, we at least got that, the one thing we got is if anything happens to our starting quarterback, we know we have a capable backup, right? So we have some insurance in the bank. There ain't a lot. Like, you feel that way about Ty Simpson? Does anybody feel that way about Brissett? Anybody feel that way about whoever the hell's backing up Sam Darnold? Like, if you took off one person from each team, right? Like I say, Matt Stafford's gone. It ain't gonna matter what else is going on. And Jigba's gone from Seattle. Like, they're not going anywhere. The one thing the Niners have proven, though, the last couple of years, all I'm saying is they have battled through a lot of adversity. If they could manage to stay healthy, and I know that's a big ask, but if they can manage to stay healthy, I think they're going to go more toe-to-toe than people think they are.
Okay, well, let me take your argument. Let me take your argument and flip it to you. You said, okay, we were hurt and we still won 12 games. Cool. You're 100% right. Now imagine, now if I'm a coach, I'm sitting there like, damn, I had all these players hurt. They're coming off injury. We still won 12 games. Imagine what we could do if I went out and got me a superstar or two. What's the definition of insanity? Continuously do the same shit over and over again. Look, all I'm saying is the Rams constantly go all in. The last time the 49ers made an all-in move was Christian McCaffrey. Do you know why they made the Christian McCaffrey move? I know you do, breaking news. Because he was headed to LA. They did it to stop the Rams from getting him. Right. You couldn't try that today? Over the past month, you couldn't try that? You knew he was going to LA. You knew it because we knew it. I said it a month ago. The Rams are in on him, and we got to stop it. We have created. Nobody thought we was going to win the Super Bowl. You got to go for it, or you got to rebuild. Look, you had to move. You might not have been able to get Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett's gone. What do you do to counteract that? You have to make a move.
I'm gonna be on Corey mode if Max Crosby ain't on this roster, bro.
You gotta go get him
right now. You be on the phone right now, like, bro.
You gotta go get him, and you know why I'm hell. You know why I'm hell bent on the fact you gotta go get him. Not only because Myles Garrett went to LA, but if we don't go get him, he gonna end up in Seattle, and then we gonna be right back here. He gonna end up in Seattle. I'm telling you,
I wouldn't be surprised if he end up in Philly because now they got an additional first round.
Or Philly.
I would not be surprised.
I don't. Yo, we spent all
bread.
He does.
Bread and gold.
He do. They need to be
breaking news. You like you said, I don't consider us like just basic ass fans. I'm a diehard 49er fan, but I'm realistic.
Mm-hmm.
They have created $70 million in cap space. For what?
Well, we've had this conversation before, but like I told you guys, we're the only team in the league that in 2028 are already over the cap, right? So as you guys know,
the cap is a myth.
I understand your thoughts on the
New
cap.
Orleans is over the cap every year. I'm not worried about 28.
But yeah, I understand. But if you don't manage the cap manages you, which is all of the Saints every year when they got to release like 10 of their best players. So all I'm saying, I'm not advocating. Listen, I'm not advocating that we should roll over 70 million or that we shouldn't make a move or that we shouldn't do what we can to try and win. Because as you guys have mentioned, the reality is if you look at this team, the way that it's currently constructed, it's a go for it type team, right? Mike Evans took less to come here to go for it. We signed a bunch of veteran guys, and we have a very veteran laden roster, and that bodes well, right, in the playoffs. Because even if you're on the road somewhere hostile like Philly, like these guys have been there before. We've done that. We've tried and tried, true, and tested. Like they've went through the battles of attrition. So, like I said, I agree with you guys. Listen, I'm not arguing with you guys about moves. Max Crosby, insert, player's name here. Like, I'm all for the Niners making some moves to win now. All I'm saying is when you looked at the package, the compensation that Cleveland got for Garrett, I knew there was no way the Niners even had a shot because we don't have anybody on the roster that would compensate for that Jared Verse.
Okay, hold on, LG. Hold on, LG. Breaking news.
This is why you go to Crosby.
Exactly. The Rams.
This is why you go to Crosby.
I'm going to keep bringing up the Rams because it's not just the Myles Garrett move.
You're good, brother. Go ahead.
The Rams went into the offseason. They had bad corners. They traded for 2 starting corners. The 49ers went into the offseason. We do not have a safety. There was a freaking safety on the board in the draft. They skipped him over. They have not brought in a safety. You need another pass rusher. I don't even want Joey Bosa, but at this point, you got to go get somebody. You need somebody opposite of Nick, like y'all have already brought up. This is why the boy he's coming off his 3rd ACL. He might not be Nick Bosa no more.
Right.
Like, I'm so tired of hearing John Lynch, and if he says it again in the next month or so, I'm going to lose my damn mind. I am so tired of hearing due diligence. The hell with due diligence. Go make a freaking move. Like, John Lynch got to understand, he's the fall guy. If this goes left, he's fired.
Yeah, and listen, you know what? I've been playing devil's advocate because I know you guys are both on the hate train, but to look at it from the other perspective, they're banking on a lot of production from 2 guys and Nick Bosa and Mikael Williams that are both coming off ACLs, right? So I agree with you. Like we need another starting caliber guy because the reality is Mikael Williams is not going to be there week 1. Probably not even going to be there week 3 or 4. So we are going to need a guy like we talked about. You know what? I wanted Grenard. We all talked about it. He was available for a second. You know what? We don't want 25 sacks over the last 3 seasons. I don't know why, but apparently we're allergic to production.
And he's under 30.
So I was playing devil's advocate, but listen, I can get on the hate train real quick because the bottom line is you can't bank on players coming off injury. I love Fred. I love Dre. Those are 2 of my probably 5 favorite linebackers in all the time I've been a Niners fan, and I've been a Niners fan since the early 80s. But the bottom line is you have to be realistic about what the NFL is. It's a contact sport. Guys get hurt. And depth is as important, if not more important, a lot of times than who your starters are. Now, we have some depth. But the bottom line is we definitely need more ammunition. And I think specifically, as you've mentioned, I definitely think defensive end and safety are 2 areas that we could improve.
I got 2 moves I need them to go make ASAP, and one of them is the Max Crosby. That's a home run. I need them to go trade for Max Crosby, and I need them to go trade for Jesse Bates, and I need them to do this ASAP. Like Max Crosby, I think you can get for a 1st and a 3rd. I don't think you need 2 firsts right now. But if you need 2 firsts,
I don't even think it's first and a third.
No, wait.
I'm telling you, I think LG's right.
This is the part that pissed me off, right? Lynch, what the fuck are you doing, bro? You traded back in the first round and didn't even get another first. This should have been your ammunition that you could have went to the Raiders and said, hey, look, I'll give you a second and a conditional first for Crosby. That's what you do. You put conditions on it, right? But now you armed with an additional first for 27. You don't even have an additional first you picked up and you traded back twice. When in the NFL draft history, have you seen somebody trade back in the later part of the first round and not pick up another first round for the next year? Like that don't make no sense. And then, like I say, I don't want to see them make just the Max Crosby and the Bates move. What I want them to do, because we sit on this 72 million. Hey, Taylor Decker, what's his name? Benito, because this is how you counteract a good defensive line. You upgrade your offensive line. These are two guys that are sitting out there in the free agency pool. Hey, we got 72 million. How much you guys take on a 1 year prove it deal? Like
you 100% right, LG. But let's be real. Kyle Shanahan will never go upgrade the line. That's just not who he is.
Because I don't want to see, put like this, right? I don't want to see us sitting on all this cap space, bringing these guys in after the season has started or something like that, if they still sitting out there. Like, I'm not a fan of bringing guys in after training camp is open. I want to see trade for the guy, put him in camp, or sign him before season starts. I don't like these in-season trades because they don't really have that impact to like move the needle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it can't be. I need you to go out there and get these pieces, and I need you to do it for a training camp so they're ready to go. Like
they're ready to go.
You know the BS. And I was listening to another podcast earlier, and they said it, and the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what, they right. The Rams knew all along they was getting Max Crosby, and these bastards went to the NFL and wanted us week 1 in Australia. They knew the whole time that we was going to have to deal with this this Myles Garrett crap week 1 in Australia. They got us in Australia so they didn't have us take over their stadium, and they went and got Myles Garrett. Yo, this is ridiculous.
I mean, like I say, bro, is sometimes you gotta beat your opponents to the punch. They've already hit the first move. Now we got to do the counter move. The counter move is you got to go get Max.
There's no counter move to Grant.
There's no counter move.
Yeah, there's no counter move to Garrett.
Nothing we do is Myles Garrett. I don't care.
I do think Max Crosby moves the needle, and I do think that is a worthy attempt at a counter punch. But like the reality is when you look at the fact that between free agency and trade, They've basically turned their corner situation into probably a top 5 corner situation. Their defensive line is probably the best defensive line now in the NFL. The only real weakness that they have, like I said, is right up the middle of that defense. And their offense scores like 30-plus points a game. I mean, we can go toe-to-toe with them offensively. Right, I understand it's an if, but
that's if Puka come back in.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, man. Even without Puka, they're gonna score 30. Like, I mean, that team, I mean, they can run 3 tight ends and score 30.
Like, top 5 offense, top 5 defense. It is
and Matt Stafford he's that guy. He makes water into wine. You want to talk about another guy that should have been a Niner that Sean McVay, snuck out right underneath. He's a hell of a quarterback, man. And, kudos to him. And listen, if it wasn't for the fact that he was on the Rams, I'd love to see him win another one, but not today. Not for the current.
Look at it like this, though. This deja vu, man. 21, the year they won the Super Bowl. Got Stafford. You got your young receiver in Cooper Kupp. You got your vet in OBJ. You go out, you trade in the middle of the season for Von Miller. Now look at the Rams again. You got Stafford. You got your young guy coming up in Puka. You got Devontae Adams as a vet. You go out, you trade for all-world Myles Garrett. Not to mention, I know what you said about the D-line. It's going to be great regardless. It's going to get better because Aaron Donald's already teasing it. He's already teasing it.
I mean, because at the end of the day, nobody cares about draft picks and cap space when you win championships. Nobody cares
exactly.
about that. Nobody cares about that, And the only thing I'm gonna say is I'm gonna put the faith in, and I'm gonna say this. Hopefully, they turn into the 04 Eagles. Sometime
no chance. No chance
listen,
with Sean McVay.
Hey, they
Not with
had
Sean
Andy
McVay.
Reid, bro. They had Andy Reid, bro.
I think it's a hard pill to swallow for the Niners because you essentially would have to kind of admit that you effed up with Mikael Williams. But I do agree with you, LG. I think the best move that they could make right now, considering all the facts, would be Max Crosby, right?
And
That
I
proven
would
veteran with a nonstop motor, a good leader, a guy that can give you sack production, even as Michael kind of slowly comes back in. You could put him in the NASCAR package. Think you got Max Crosby, Odiggy Zua, Mikael Williams, and Nick Bosa in your NASCAR package, and that would be nasty. They need a move like that.
I want to see him go get Taylor Decker. Taylor Decker's just sitting out there. And he wants to play.
I agree with this comment. We talked about it earlier.
He can flip. He can flip over to right because he did it for Sewell. He can flip over to right.
But you got to look at it like this though. Y'all both said it. Y'all don't think it'll take 2 firsts to get Max Crosby. But you got to look at it. The Raiders will not do the 49ers no favors. I don't care if it's Al Davis.
I think it'd be a first and a third. Because here's the thing: they're saying that that they're okay. They added a lot of salary on this offseason, and they were anticipating Crosby to be gone. And now he's back, and that's a huge chunk of cap that they weren't expecting. I absolutely think that they would still be open to negotiating, but I do think it's a little bit of egg on everybody's face, right? But primarily on the Ravens, but they've moved on. But I think if the right deal was in place, I do think that the Raiders would trade Crosby because that situation, it's still, is he going to get a new contract? What are you guys going to do with him? It's still going to be swirling until something happens.
And breaking it, I don't think it'll be a first. I think it's because of that knee. I think it'll be like a second conditional. And if he plays,
that's to anybody but us, LG.
Yeah, but
this is still the 49ers.
LG, you got to think about this. Whether it's the Eagles or the Niners or Seahawks, if I'm going to ask from a second, right, from from Cleveland, I'm going to ask for a first from the Niners because I don't want that pick to be number 60.
Basically
right?
a third rounder. Yeah.
Right. Like I want that pick to be pick 27 in the first because I already know it's going to be a late first. That's what I'm saying for the Niners. I think it'd be a first with like a conditional third based off of performance. Like, does he play like 8 games or more?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, because to us it don't really matter because we sitting on like 1 million 4th round picks, man. The Niners get 4th round picks like every year or something. Yeah. They get 2 additionals. So
they're gonna get another third. They're gonna get another third next year because when Mac leave, he signed a big contract. That's gonna give you a third too.
Yeah. So like I don't care about the picks, but that gotta be the move. I need to see that move. I need to see that move by the end of the week. But if that move isn't done by the time we come back on air, I'm gonna lose. I'm just telling y'all.
You're gonna be mad. You're gonna be mad because John Lynch is asleep right now, man.
Well, I mean, either he's already packed up his bags, he's ready to go, something. But hey, that has to be the move that has.
He does want to come back to the Bay. I was going to mention that.
Yep. Yeah. So if it's up to Max, he'd be here, and I think
he wants to play.
I think that was the case a year ago when they kept asking him about Demo because Demo was hitting him on Instagram and stuff.
Yeah. I think he'd rather listen. I think he always wanted to stay in the Bay, and he got drafted by the Raiders. There's a special place in his heart for the Raiders. But listen, you can't tell me any professional athlete doesn't want a chance to compete for a championship, right? Like if you're gonna play at that pinnacle of a sport, you want to compete, and at least with the Niners, he's competing. Right? With the Raiders, you're not.
We know Miles wasn't waiving his no trade clause to go play, anywhere that wasn't a contender. That wasn't going to happen because he could stay in Cleveland.
I liked your idea with Bates, but I'll tell you what, and some people, I'm going to get some shit in the chat, but I'm going to say it anyways. If they're going to move Garrett, right, Myles Garrett, I'd ask about Grant Delpit. I think he's a phenomenal safety, and the other guy who, on the Jets, and we know what a train wreck they are. What about Minka Fitzpatrick? He's only 29.
Yeah, that's a good one. The one that Delvin from Cleveland though. The issue with that is
I think
what we haven't touched on is that was a hell of a trade for the Cleveland Browns. Why would you break it up? I wouldn't get rid of my safety because now we're setting ourselves up to be a good team, and now we can set ourselves up to go if Shador's not what we want him to be to go get a quarterback next year. And the move was a hell of a move by Cleveland.
Oh yeah, Cleveland, they doing masterclass over there. I get Cleveland.
Yeah, but let's temper expectations. How many times in the last 10 years have we said, "Oh man, Cleveland had a great draft," or "Oh man, I love that free agency for Cleveland"? And guess what? They're still Cleveland. They're still Cleveland, man. Listen, remember, this is the team. All I'm gonna say is this, dude. This is the team that passed on Jim Schwartz, a top 5 DC in the league, and the person that Myles Garrett wanted, and the only reason that he is now with the Rams is for a head coach that most people wouldn't have even taken as an offensive coordinator. So, let's temper expectations a little bit.
This is why I think, like I say, because Cleveland is moving a little differently. That's all I'm gonna say. They moving a little different. We've been in that role with Cleveland where they say, "Look at their moves." Y'all have heard me say it before, dude. I like the moves that they're making because, like you said, on paper, who else could offer up a Jerry Verse? Who else could offer that in a first rounder?
Right. There's not a lot of young, controllable pass rushers that teams would have offered up, knowing that you're bringing, even though he's phenomenal, bringing back a guy that in 2-3 years the contract's going to blow to $50 million, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to pay him. It's not like he's going to opt out.
No, and if you look, like I said, I don't want to turn this into a Brown show, but if you look at it from that standpoint, now that Myles Garrett is off of their books, who else is making any money on there besides Deshaun Watson?
Exactly.
Nobody's making money in Cleveland.
And that's why you don't give up your safety, because now you got a young squad, and you, on paper, even though we know they're Cleveland, on paper to them, it's like, oh, well, we made a hell of a move.
They just drafted a safety that's already getting raves in OTAs. They just drafted one that we wanted. They drafted a nice safety.
But that's what I was talking about. We in shorts and t-shirts right now, though. So none of this matters to me.
Yeah, but like I say, Boston is looking good in OTAs. They got Concepcion, bro. Like I say, Cleveland is moving a little different for me. Like I said, I don't know if they would move Delpit for the right price. I don't know. Maybe you just never know. But me, like I say, I honestly think that the best move that we could make is going getting one of those quote unquote free agents, O-linemen, because like I say, you don't have to give up anything to get them. You don't have to move. You don't have to give up any draft capital. All you gotta do is sign them, and you could bring them in on a 1-year deal, or bring them in on that 2-year deal. Throw them a big bonus, and say the 2-year deal is optional, and you're good to go. Like I said, I think breaking news. You kind of agree with me. Like bringing in Decker would be huge, bro. Huge.
But all these people we naming are on the street for a reason. They ain't on the street.
No. Wait. The only reason why Decker's on the street is because he didn't want to take a pay cut.
Hey, here, just for, I'm like thinking of the possibilities, and I don't think obviously anyone in division is going to do the Niners any favor.
Nah.
But
I know where you're going.
If you're the Cardinals, and you're not going anywhere, what about Budda Baker? I mean, what a stud that dude's been.
In the division,
but listen, stud. The guy hasn't had a chance to win. And listen, I've made the drive. Scottsdale to California is literally like 2 hours. So, I mean, you're not talking about like he could keep the same house and probably, just get a new, like, it's not like traveling East Coast. And I think Budda Baker is an experience, like, because I feel like what we need, and I like Bates too, but like, I feel like what we need that calming presence that's like a legit leader of the secondary. Like we have a lot of young guys that have talent, but we don't have that guy that helps line people up and be like, hey, no, you need to be here. Like I got this, you do that. Like that's what we need. Bates would be good, but like you were saying, I don't know if Atlanta, especially after we took Raheem, you think they're doing him any favors? Like you think they're gonna trade him, Raheem? I mean, I think Raheem would love to have Bates. But the reason why I was kind of like, I don't know. I don't think they would trade him to us.
Yeah, well,
That's almost like a Later situation.
To get Buddha, I feel the same way about Max Crosby, but to get Buddha, it's going the price is going to be different for you than it is for anybody else.
But who's their head coach now?
Where?
In Arizona.
Who the hell is their head coach? It's our old coach, ain't it?
It's
the OC from Seattle, ain't it?
Right, but it's exactly, but their family ties are all with the Shanahans. Like his brother was our offensive coordinator at one point. His other brother, like he's in Green Bay now or whatever. But all the LaFleur's, like, you know, all those boys, like we had all those guys, and then obviously Kubiak, you know, Gary, the dad, you know, used to coach with Kyle's dad back in the day. So it's like, I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't think it would be as hostile as you think. Now, dealing with the Bidwells might be different, the owners, but I could see Kubiak dealing with the Niners. Listen, he realizes that he needs to rebuild 100%. Like, this isn't like, hey, next year we're going to be competitive. Like, the reality is they might win 2 games next year. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like I said, I'm just throwing out suggestions, but you know, there is deals to be had out there in the NFL. The bottom line is we got to be actively looking for them, and not us here on the show, but we need to go and we need to make these deals happen. We need to actively pursue, like LG said, like when you go talk to the Raiders and they're like, yeah, no, we don't want to deal with the Niners. Like, you know, the no can't be the final call, right? Like you got to be persistent to eventually be like, hey, you know what? Let's get this done. I don't want to talk about it no more.
And that's how Myles Garrett ended up in LA. The Browns said no. They said no multiple times, and LA wouldn't stop.
Right.
You said no, but you said no.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was one of those things where, like, for me, I think it's one of those things where, like breaking his head to once Shorts wasn't hired as the coach, they knew they were going to have to move Myles.
You
know, and then I think that major hurdle was him having that no trade, right? And find a team that could take on that contract that they just gave him too. So that kind of limits your trade partners of who you could trade to him to, and getting back, you know, compensation. Like I think honestly, it was one of those situations where it's, what do you do, Cleveland? You kind of in a corner. It's like we can't just trade him anywhere because he has a no trade. So he's not only probably going to go to a contender. Then now you look at the contenders and say, well, who could absorb his contract? And then the teams that could absorb his contract, okay, what could we get in a trade package for him? And I think that's what ultimately led them to the Rams. With Max Crosby, it's kind of like the same deal. Okay, Max. I don't know if Max has a no trade clause. I don't know if anybody can look that up. But you go to Max and it's like, okay, we can't bring Max. We can't bring Max back. We're in full rebuild mode. Who could we probably send him to and get fair value, or what we can deem fair value, especially after what came out about the Ravens? It wasn't just, the Ravens reneged on the deal. That was the case, then he would have already been traded. If it was only the fact that the Ravens got cold feet and backed out, Max Crosby would be on another team by now. Is that injury report, how many years you're going to get out of him, his contract? That's the reason why he's still on the Raiders. The Niners we don't need him for year 6, year 7. We need him for like year 1 through 3. Get the window, because when he gets to year 4, year 5, Trent's not going to be there. Kittle probably won't be there. Hey, I don't know if CMC's going to be there. I don't know too many running backs that's 36, 37 still in the league. Especially after that wear and tear. I think that if we can get 3 out of Max Crosby, I don't care. We can eat the cap. We can kick it down the road. We can convert some people later on down the line.
None of that matters if you win a chip.
All it don't matter. All it don't matter.
But look though. One thing we haven't touched on when it comes to this cap, that could be part of the issue that nobody's talking about, is Parag. Parag don't want to touch the cap. Don't the 49ers own a soccer team or something? Ain't it like Leeds or something like that? That's where that's where all Jed York's focus is on. He's not trying to spend money on the 49ers. He's so wrapped up in this. And Parag doesn't want to touch the cap. He wants to roll the cap over. And Parag has been with Jed this whole time. He's got more power than John Lynch when it comes to that salary cap. If he don't want to do it, it's not going to get done.
I agree with you on the Parag statement as far as I think he does have quite a bit of say. I don't know about more, but quite a bit of say. But I think we have to also understand and be, like acknowledge the fact that we're talking about a soccer team that I believe cost $500 million, right? For them to like total net value versus an NFL team that's like, I don't know, 2 billion or something. Like I'm throwing numbers out, but the bottom line is it's like if if I'm one of your contacts and LG's one of your contacts, distributors, right? And you make 500 a week with me, or you make 15,000 a week with LG, who's going to be your who's going to be the person you're more focused on? And I'm not saying that's what's happening, right? So the bottom line is don't be penny wise and dollar foolish. They need to keep narrow and focused on the 49ers. And just one more thing I want to throw out, because you brought up the Atlanta Falcons and this has been running through my head. Chris Lindstrom, hell of a young offensive guard. He's been the top rated guard by PFF the last 2 years. They have so many problems going on over there, man. If you're going to trade for somebody, look at Bates is a great option, but we need a damn offensive guard. How about you trade for Lindstrom?
That's why I said
dude is a mauler.
I would take the starting.
I'd give up a first. I'll give a first right now. Top rated guard the last 2 years. He's given up 1 sack in 2 years. I'll take it right now.
But that's you, and that's us.
That's why I said Benito. He's sitting out there. He's a free agent. Like,
hey man, listen. I've already you know the Benito thing with me. I've begged for Kevin Zeitler. For Zeitler.
Yeah, one of the two. One of the two.
There's a guy that calls the plays for this team that we all think is a genius when it comes to offense, who will not address the offensive line. I told y'all this going into the draft because y'all both wanted linemen in the first round. I told y'all Kyle's not addressing the line because Kyle thinks he can scheme around it. There's no scheming around Myles Garrett.
Can we also address the elephant in the room that if you look at most genius coaches, because I mean, you guys can say what you want, but Kyle is a genius when it comes to offense.
Yeah.
The reality is that if you look at most geniuses, they always think they can do more by themselves and should have more control, a la Bill Belichick. Remember, once he took total control of personnel, the ship sank. Like, bottom line, like, you need help, right? Scott Pioli meant a lot more to that organization than anyone wanted to realize. Goes to Kansas City, and guess what? They're good. So, I mean, understand though that your personnel people, your GMs, like all those guys matter. Like what needs to happen, and we could talk about this till we're blue in the face, but the bottom line is whoever the offensive coordinator, whoever the defensive coordinator, John should be going to him and saying, hey, what do you need? Like, what's the guy? Like LG, you're my offensive coordinator. Describe to me what your perfect running back looks like. Great. I'll handle that. Like when I watched that interview with Lynch and oh God, what's that guy's name? The Rich Eisen, where he's explaining the process and talking about how he starts cramming film in February so he can, catch up to speed on these guys. And if he watches the highlight tape and doesn't like it, he basically discards it. I'm like, oh my God, like, what are we doing? Why do we have guys scouting 12 months a year for you to look at one tape that some volunteer made of some person's highlights and you didn't like it, and now we're just going to discard that guy? Like, trust in the personnel. Tell John what it is that you want, and let the personnel, let the pro personnel, let the college scouting department go find those players. Let's try that. We tried it your way, it don't work.
Exactly.
But y'all remember what I said, too? Y'all remember what I said, dude? Like, when it comes to the Niners, dude, like, what other front offices have been pillaged more?
Well, I mean, there's been a few, but I hear what you're saying. But Green Bay, Philly,
Green Bay,
the Ravens, But yeah, that's good front offices. But the problem with that, LG, is when you get pillaged, you need to realize and recognize that you have to restock the cupboard.
You do.
And what we've done is we haven't restocked the cupboard. We've just reassigned responsibilities. So because Kyle only trusts like 3 people, and 2 of them are Kyle and his dad. So
but the issue with that is that yeah, we lose people in the front office, but the person that has final say on the roster has not gone nowhere because he's the damn head coach.
yeah,
What
but back
we
in the
need,
day, listen,
go
when we had Adam Peters, when we had I can't remember his name, but the former Detroit Lions GM that came over that was helping John Lynch the first few years he was here. When we had other voices in there that could say, I don't know, man, I don't necessarily like that pick. We need somebody that's willing to step up. Listen, if you guys both work for me, right, and you know I could fire you at any time, and I say, hey, I love this 5'8", 130-pound white kid that's going to be an offensive tackle, and you're like, are you going to tell me that? No, you're like, my job depends on this. No, yeah, it's a good pick, Brian. Go ahead. The problem is Kyle and John need somebody in the room that's going to be the voice of reason. That's going to say, wait a minute, dude, that doesn't sound right. Like you're picking a kid that, everybody had as a 4th-round pick, and you're taking him at 33. Or, hey, wait a minute, man. Like, there's a safety here that everybody liked at 15, and you've passed on him twice at 33 and 60, and we need a safety. Like, part of the problem is why we miss is I feel like we get too cute in the first 2 rounds, right? Like you try to just like thread the needle. It's like, no, man, we just need good players, whatever that looks like. The reality is, listen, we all know we need an offensive guard. We all know we need a safety, but the bottom line is if they took an all-pro center, would any of us give a shit? No. If they took an all-pro tight end and we already have one, would we care? No. So that's what needs to start happening. We need to start drafting better and evaluating talent better. And when we trade for Max Crosby, Myles Garrett type players. Don't trade for Sky Moore, Brian Robinson. If we're going to trade, you get those guys in the draft. If you're going to trade for generational guys.
I think they need John Lynch to get a promotion and get a real GM.
We've talked about this. Yeah,
get a real GM and take
VP of like public relations or something. John, congratulations, buddy.
Yeah,
he's great. He's great with the media. He really is. He's great with the media. Everybody. He's like the president. Everybody wants to let him to kiss their baby. But like, let's get somebody in there, some stat nerd that literally doesn't come out of the dark basement 23 hours a day and just literally crunches film all the time.
Because the fact that Kyle straight up in public said, I watched film starting in February.
Yeah.
And I was
like, wow.
The fact that he said that in public, take that responsibility away from him, because he's not wrong in the sense of he's usually still coaching in late January.
Well, of course. And listen, most head coaches don't start watching film till February. The thing that blew me away is, like I said, that he'll watch a highlight tape, and if he doesn't like the guy, he's like, hey, that's it. Like, are you kidding me? The reality is I watch more tape on college guys than Shanahan does. I guarantee you that.
I will never forgive this regime because their second year they had a chance at Mahomes, Deshaun, all these guys, and they didn't even look because they wanted Kirk Cousins.
I was gonna say, was that the Solomon Thomas draft? Which one?
Yeah, you want to know? You want to know something?
My God.
You want to know? You want to know?
That was our first draft.
It was that, but that was the draft though, because you know what else? It went across. That was the draft that they skipped out on Mahomes and them and took.
You know what else? Dude, I can't even believe you guys. You know what? I'm gonna be sick.
I'm gonna bring it full circle for y'all. The year going into that draft where we drafted Solomon Thomas, we lost to the Browns and were put at the number 1 spot. Do you know what happened in the last game of the season? Colin Kaepernick beat the Rams, giving the Browns the first pick back. Who the Browns take with the first pick that year? Myles Garrett. We had Myles Garrett in 2018, but we tricked it off to beat the Rams in a meaningless game at the end of the year with Chip Kelly.
Thanks, Colin.
Full circle.
Hey, don't get me started on
the Rams cost us Myles Garrett 2 times.
I'm gonna let you guys complain for another 5 minutes, but we need to have some kind of positive vibe around here because this room's getting heavy and that's me saying it. So like,
Look,
come on
hey,
now,
All
boys.
right,
hey,
look. Well,
let's get a little
look.
bit more heavier.
Let me
Hey,
hold
let's get a
on,
little
hold
bit more
on.
heavier.
Let me get off. Let me
God
get off
damn.
to my. Let me get off to Miles Garrett then, and let's talk about your favorite wide receiver who is out
Get that
here
motherfucker up out of
following.
here.
He's
I'm being
following the
blunt.
Commanders and Jaden Daniels, and it's
Oh my God,
it's been pretty
everything,
much
man.
everywhere. It's been pretty much everywhere today. So look, I brought this up last week. We going into mandatory soon. BA's gonna have to show up, and they're gonna have to figure this thing out sooner or later. The
He already said he's
Commanders
showing up on Instagram. He said he was showing up.
and he should, because they
I
can't
don't
use
think
that
he
against
will.
him.
He's done so much idiotic stuff. He say that and then he don't show up.
Can I just say this though, like seriously, on a serious note, because I followed him at Arizona State, because you guys know that I watch the draft. You know, I scout players. I watch these guys develop as you guys have, and so is the rest of the faithful. On a side note, man, I feel for this guy. I really do. Like, not like, listen, LG, I know how me and you feel from a fan's perspective, but on a personal level, I really believe this brother needs some mental help. Like,
Yep.
I feel like he needs somebody in his corner. Like, have you guys heard all the rumors swirling about, the shopping sprees and the Sophie Rain stuff and
Holding
all
ice
the
cream in your hand and
things?
watching it melt.
Yeah. Like I'm saying, there's like even the supposedly offering tens of millions of dollars to like sleep with like a really like popular influencer. It's like I don't know, man. Like I feel like and even his agent and other teams have said that he's very difficult to reach, that he doesn't call people back. And it's
Yeah.
like, if you're trying to get a job somewhere else, right? Like if you're trying to get a job somewhere else, like at the very least, like listen,
Oh, I
you hate
forgot
the
about that.
Niners. Listen, you hate the Niners, you want out, I get it. But like at the very least, for the next job interview, you typically show up, right? Like even the Commanders have said, like, hey, we can't really get a hold of this guy. He's difficult to get a hold of. And even it's gotten to the point where even Jaden Daniels, I'm sure you guys heard at training camp, he's like, hey man, he's my brother. Like, I don't know what's going on with him, but I wish him the best. Like he's just basically been like, yeah, I don't want to be involved in that situation. At this point, for the 49er faithful's mental sanity, I don't give a shit what draft pick we potentially could have gotten in what type of scenario. Just release the dude, please. So we do not have to have another podcast in the next month where we have to talk about this guy again. Just release him so he can have his matching handbag with his matching shoes, and they can go on private jets and he can eat his ice cream, and we don't have to talk about it. Like, I'm done with it.
I do agree though that the mental health aspect is real. The kid's going through something. I do feel bad for him in that aspect.
He needs somebody, absolutely, Corey.
He definitely
needs somebody in his corner that's like, listen, I don't care about your money. I care about you. And like you're torpedoing, you did all this work to get to where you're at, and you're torpedoing your career, brother. Like, come on, man. We need to pull, tighten the bootstraps, get back on the bicycle and get this thing moving in the right direction. Like it's bad.
It is bad, and the 49ers aren't helping it. They're sitting here holding on. They're sitting here holding on to him for maybe a 7th round pick. Where the Commanders,
we're like a disgruntled girlfriend.
Exactly.
we're like a disgruntled. Like, well, you have my CD, so I'm not returning your coat.
Yeah, it's like he's gonna. We all know where he's gonna go. The team that's gonna get him knows where he's gonna go. Why would you trade for him when he could just show up next week?
The bottom line, he's going to be on the physically unable list. Like even if he was on our roster, just get, what a distraction. Like you bring in Mike Evans, who's like the epitome of the model of professionalism, right? To show these younger guys how to do things. Why would you even I blame the Niners. I told you guys this, and I'm going to get sidetracked for a minute here. The day after he signed his multi-million-dollar contract, he went out to the facility in black shorts.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep.
And Kyle's like,
Kyle had to send him back
you gotta wear red shorts. And he's like, yeah, well, I'm wearing black. I don't want to wear black shorts. It's like, come on, man. I'm paying you $120 million. The least you could do is fall in line and do, what the team protocol says you're gonna do. It's like, come on, man. Like at this point, like I just don't want to have this conversation again in 3 weeks. I really hope for his sake that he gets somebody in his corner. Because like I said, as a man, like I know it can be really difficult to open up to people, right? To feel like it's safe to open up and talk to people. That dude needs help. Like as a person, as a human being. Now, back as a 49ers wide receiver, good riddance. Get out of here.
Yeah,
We don't
I
want
agree
you.
with that. I agree
Dude,
with
you know
that.
what I'm gonna say, dude? Y'all can think I'm joking. I'm like I said it before. I said it on the main show. He needs help, right? He needs some help.
You're
Real
right,
help.
man.
You know who he's turning into?
Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown. And we've all seen what happened to Antonio Brown. And it's not even like I'm gonna put it like this, right? I've said it before. What do players play their hardest to get to? Guaranteed money. It's the reason why Shohei don't care about making $1 million right now. That dude got guaranteed money till he like 60. He don't care. He's gonna get money well after his baseball career. You get the guaranteed money to make sure you secure your future. This dude then went and got his guaranteed money voided. Nobody's in his corner saying
Didn't dispute it, by the way, either.
No,
nope,
and
didn't dispute it.
The NFLPA didn't even dispute it. It's
Because
like
he told him not to.
He told him not to.
Yeah, but even if they did, they probably told him it's an unwinnable argument. We can't win it because you basically ghost the team, right? And I had been following the Aiyuk situation from the jump. This is why I something is wrong with him. Somebody needs to really like say, hey, look, step away from football, get yourself together. Because we've all seen what happened with Antonio Brown. We've all seen what goes on with, Tyreek Hill, stuff like that, right? At the end of the day, I knew something was up because when we went into the negotiation, think about it. He was like, oh, I don't want to play here anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. I'm gone. Okay, cool. We worked out the Cleveland trade. The Cleveland trade was a done deal. Then you seen him and he was like, oh, Mike Tomlin's my guy. I want to be a Steeler. Mike Tomlin's my favorite coach. Okay, the trade was done. The only thing he had to do was show up to Pittsburgh and sign his new contract. This is a guy, like I say, this is how you know something's wrong. This is a guy who was on record saying, I want to play for Mike Tomlin. The deal is done. Your contract is here. Like Brady said, breaking news. All you have to do is show up and sign it. And then he turns around and tells the Steelers, I'm not going to report. Something is not right. I'm
just going to go a different direction and just I'll leave my piece with Brandon here. You mentioned he's similar to Antonio Brown. I totally disagree. Antonio Brown had literally like 8 or 9 seasons of number one receiver type production. And literally the antics weren't there the first 4 or 5 years. They gradually got worse. And I'm saying that because with Brandon, he had one good year. You want to know who he reminds me of? Josh Gordon. Remember the Cleveland wide receiver? He had one good year, got the bag, and guess what? Kid fell in drug test. It's like, brother, you're making $20 million a year. All you have to do is just not fail a drug test, and he couldn't do it.
Well, I'm from Houston, bro. And I'm gonna say this: Josh had a lot more demons going on.
Right.
I didn't,
and obviously Brandon does too.
Yeah, I didn't see the demons in Brandon until it came to the contract negotiations. And you know how, like I say, I'm just being real. If we all got family members, right, or close friends, and you know how they normally act, you know the things that they do that normal person would do. When you start seeing things that they're doing that are abnormal, you should be like, hey, what's going on? Hey, what was really, causing you to do these things? Somebody in his corner should be like, hey, what's going on with these things that are abnormal? Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I had forgot about it. You literally drove by the stadium doing 120. Meanwhile, the only thing you had to do was show up and just say, hey, look, I've been to rehab today. Okay, thank you guys. I'm gone. Or even better yet, do like you do a traffic ticket or something. You tell your attorney, you tell your agent, hey, let the team know, hey, this is where I'm at. He don't even have his agent even knowing what he got going on. His agent
He's not returning phone calls.
He's not returning no phone. Dude, that's like you say, breaking news. Something has to be wrong because if you're saying to yourself like, "Hey, I want out of here," you know the quickest way you get out of here, you pick up the phone because teams are trying to trade for you.
All he's got to do is if he would have just been a model citizen, right? Like show up for the offseason, the OTAs, show up for stuff, work out. Like 9 other teams would have lined up to trade for him. There's a reason why teams will overpay, right? Because wide receivers are hard to come by, especially ones that will block, that'll do the dirty work going over the middle like Brandon will do. Like I said, he's still a super talented guy. The problem is, you want to know when I knew there was an issue with Brandon? When they were doing the negotiation and he tried to do like his own like docu-series. Like I don't know if you guys watched it, but he was like documenting like the negotiation. He had like them like when he was talking to like Parag or when he's talking to John Lynch, he's like video like list like he's like I'm not televising, but he's like posting the information that they're talking about, and it's like, dude, like this isn't like how you conduct yourself, right?
And you know what?
As an adult.
and this is where I go. This is why I go even further with it. John Lynch. This is just my personal opinion. He's done right by a lot of players, bro. The ones that, especially if you showed up. If he would have, if Brandon would have just said, "Hey, look, I don't want to play here anymore. I get it. I signed the contract. Blah blah blah." He came, checked in with the team, whatever. I honestly think that John probably would have said, "Hey, you want to go to Washington? Okay, Washington, give us 6th-round pick or something, and Brandon, here you go." Like I honestly think he would have traded him wherever he wanted to go, but it's all the other stuff that he got going on, and that's why they're being a little petty with him. But yeah, like I say, I hope that dude get his life together. Now on the flip side of that, I'll double tap on it. If we're at 72 million now, how much are we gonna have when he's off our books? Because
don't matter.
It's already post June 1st. Yeah, like you're still gonna have dead money.
Yeah, but how much dead money do we have with him off? And he has no guarantees, so I ain't worried about 28 because he have no more guaranteed money.
Yeah. 28 will look better, obviously, because like you were talking about how we were saying in 28 we're already over the cap. Obviously, you remove Brandon, that situation looks differently. The other thing nobody ever talks about is the fact that the salary cap does go up every year. Right? So like right now we're 13 million over, but in 2 years we're probably going to have a surplus. But the only other person, I just wanted to say this real quick too, LG. The only other person I've ever seen John Lynch take a harsh stance with, and I was thinking about this, and with all the Niners since he's been here, is Devondre Campbell. So I have a hard time not backing Lynch and the organization in this scenario because the only other person he's ever taken a harsh stance with was DeAndre Campbell. And we know what Devondre did, right?
Yeah.
Like he flat out said, I'm not playing. Yeah. Well, that's basically what Brandon did. I'm not playing. I'm not taking calls. I'm not getting treatment. Yeah, you could pay me $30 million. I'm not going. So I think the bottom line is I think that Lynch is definitely a player's GM, but I also think that, he has a certain tolerance for BS, and I think he's hit his limit with him. And you know what? I think for all parties, we need a break.
What's the dude? I forgot his name. He played in Jacksonville this year. The D tackle.
Eric Armstead.
He was like, "Hey, Armstead, you've been really good. Hey, you had a couple of injuries. We want to keep you, but not at that number." Armstead said, "Look, I don't want to take a pay cut." He said, "What do you want me to do?" They just flat out released me. Yeah. What did John Lynch do? He released him. Right. The other guy that we traded to the Colts, same thing. He's like, "Hey, we can't keep you. We made a bad choice."
That's a sore subject.
Yeah, please don't bring up DeForest Buckner. I might cry. And nobody wants to watch a grown man. Nobody wants to watch a grown man do that, LG.
Hey, we picked the wrong guy, but he did right by him and traded him. Even Debo, it was like, "Okay, Debo, you want out? Okay, I'll make it right by you." He's made. If you come to work and you do what you're supposed to do, John Lynch has did what he's supposed to do by players. Like you said, the DeAndre Campbell, you talking about a sore spot. Yeah, that dude, you gonna get what you gonna get. But now it's Brandon Aiyuk, so now it's like, he's been a little petty with him too. But Brandon brought that on himself.
Right.
Well, look, let me do this. Let me do this though, because breaking news gave us 5 minutes to continue to complaining, right?
Absolutely,
we had an hour. No. We had an hour and 20. We've pretty much shit on the squad tonight for this for not making any moves. So breaking news. Give me a positive before we get up out of here. Give me something to lighten the room
Oh
up.
man. Okay, let me think of a couple positives here. Sorry, I was in a negative headspace there. I felt like Brandon for a minute. Um, Number one, Kalon Black can catch the ball, right?
Yep.
That's got to be a positive. Even though he wasn't doing it in Indiana, he's doing it. I think the Niners have a real knack for undrafted players. If you look at Eason, Thompson, the undrafted guys that the undrafted guys that they brought in, they both looked really good, and so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And I'll give you one more positive. I think Connor Colby's going to win the starting job, and I think he's actually going to play pretty good. Remember, as a rookie, the biggest knock on him is that he was undersized. He came in much bigger this offseason. He's about 10, 15 pounds heavier. I think he's starting to get his kind of NFL body. And like I said, a lot of people crapped on Dominic Pooney, but he played severely injured last year. He really should not have been playing. And so for the first half of the year, he looked, overmatched, if you will. But I think the offensive line is going to be better, right? Going to be better than it was last year. And I think the running game is also going to be better. That's it. That's all I got.
I just seen that last comment about that picture. Yeah, our producer's an asshole. He's a Steelers fan.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's
LG.
not his fault. It's not his fault. He's
he knows
look what his options at quarterback are. It's not his fault.
LG, give me a positive before we get up out of here.
Like I say, my positive is we'll have all this cap space. And we talked about it, like the whole Brandon Aiyuk, the not making the trades, but I going into the season, remember we were like, hey, they were kind of pushing that cap line. It wasn't a lot of money. I think that now once the dust is kind of settled on the season, we'll be able to make some moves prior to he wasn't going to be able to make. And hey, look, y'all hit it on the head, man. This ain't Chip Kelly again. Hey, look, hey, it's a thing. Y'all know I love my movies. Hey, when Jamie Foxx on Bait, he was talking about, you gonna tell me some worser news? Yeah, it could be worser. It could be definitely be worse. Yeah. So
I love
hey,
it.
look, so I'll take that.
Look,
my positive. We're healthy right now.
My positive for this team going into the season is today there is no positive. It's all downhill from here. Maybe next time I see y'all, I have some positive, but today I'm not in a positive mind space. We didn't tricked up. We didn't tricked up and let the yeah. I'm bang bang not again till I die. I'm hurting today. I knew the Rams were going to do this to us.
We could be the Cowboys.
Hey, everything's doom and gloom, but it's still nice to have a top 6 quarterback. What?
Hey, yo,
look,
we saw that Caleb picture I posted.
I did.
Don't even play, Corey.
He looked like he ate Caleb.
Hey, look.
That's what it said. It said, did he get stung by a bee or eat the whole hive?
LG. I hate you in Texas. I hate to say this because you just said we could be the Cowboys. The fact of the matter is we're no better because we ain't won a Super Bowl since 95.
The Cowboys sell that dream every year, man, and that dream always turn into a sour grape every year.
Hey, man, they sell that dream to their fans.
Listen, before you are seriously considered a playoff contender and a Super Bowl contender, you got to at least win one damn playoff game. I mean, you lost not just to the Niners, you lost to the Cardinals, right? You lost to Green Bay. You lost to Green Bay before Green Bay was even like they even knew they were good. So relax, win a playoff game, then we'll come talk to you.
Yeah, bro.
Maybe even one in Philly like we did.
Dude, I had an argument with my boy today about Dak Prescott, and I'm like, dude, I'll take Brock Purdy every day. Every day, I'm like, let me see Dak win a playoff game. Hey,
I'm taking Dak. I'll never take Dak over Brock. That ain't happening.
We could always be the Cowboys. I'm gonna say that another positive is, like I said, we're not in a full rebuild mode right now. Because I mean, think about it. There are teams that go from these quote unquote unexpected seasons. And y'all remember, I'm in Houston, Rockets. Oh my God, so many people that pissed off about the Rockets because you were a number 2 seed and you literally just fell apart.
Yeah.
So we had a season last year that was unexpected, especially with the injuries. People didn't think that we were going to be in a position where we were even in, and we're not in a full rebuild mode because you got to think about it. Like in breaking news, probably you probably know more about this than me and Corey. People actually thought that the Niners were in a fever because think about it. We literally got gutted a lot of the good, I'm gonna say, older players, right? Tre'Davious Ward, Debo, a lot of guys. I think they still had a little bit in the tank. We literally gutted that roster and went with a lot of youth,
But
youth.
LG, that was, and now we're gonna get back into the negative before we get out of here because that's the part. yeah, that's the part that pisses me off the most is John Lynch verbatim sold us on. Well, we got to make some cutbacks this year, so when next year gets here, we can do the things we need to do. Well, we're not doing the things we need to do, so you lied to me, and that's why I'm even more pissed off today. Go ahead,
I'm not going to say that.
I got one more positive, right, for you guys and for the faithful. So PFF stats showed Niners were dead last in the league last year in wide receiver separation, right? Meaning they had less separation per targeted pass than anyone in the league. We will not be last in the league in targeted wide receiver separation this year. And we have multiple guys that run sub 4.4 this year, which means teams are not only going to have to guard us east and west, but also north and south. I think Brock Purdy has like a top 5 caliber. Like we're going to be talking about him as an MVP type candidate. He's going to be good this year.
If Brock Purdy's in an MVP, that's the only way we compete.
That can be easily done, though, Corey. That can be easily done. And
you know what? It can't be easily done because the kid gonna be running for his life.
No, breaking news.
You saw him in the Chicago game. He's pretty good at running for his life. You saw him in the Detroit game in the NFC Championship.
Hey,
he's pretty good at running for his life.
I give you a positive, and I'm saying this tongue in cheek because we in shorts and t-shirts. Jacob Callan looked fast. Hey, breaking news. Give me a breaking news. Breaking news.
You didn't do that.
Hey, Corey, why you playing around, dude? Like I say, man, I'm kind of going to breaking news side, man. It's teams out here now still searching.
Come on over the dark side, man.
Hey, let the hate flow. But nah, hey, look, hey, it's a lot of teams out here that they still searching for their quarterback. We got the quarterback in place, and we can build from that. Like I say, but it's guys out here that are literally banking on 27 because they thinking that Manning's coming out. Meanwhile, we already got that position locked down. I think that we just need to build up around that quarterback. So that's a positive to me.
Okay. Well,
and even though people don't like Brock, but Brock is, like you say, quote unquote.
Hey, look.
In my eyes, top 6.
Apparently, people don't like winners. That's all I'm going to say.
No.
I mean, I gave you guys the numbers. People don't like wins in the playoffs. People don't like going to NFC Championship games.
Let me say this so people can stay up on my mentions. Brock Purdy is the top 10 quarterback. Does that make y'all feel?
Oh, now he moved up a spot.
Does that make y'all? First of all, I had him ranked number 8. I had him ranked at 8. But y'all was killing me because instead of saying a top 10 list, I said a top 12 list. When in reality, I knew where breaking news was going to land, but I didn't know where LG was going to land. So I was trying to give 12, LG grace.
No,
I was trying to give you grace.
If you say top 12, you can't put him at 8. You got to say top 8 because anybody after 8 is irrelevant. Is irrelevant.
You got him at 6 or 5. Breaking news got him at 6. I ain't never heard neither one of y'all say I got him in my top 6. Y'all say top 10.
No,
hey,
you
listen.
say top 6, bro. I got him at 6, bro.
Listen, I don't even know if I got him at 6, but he's definitely a top 10 guy. And you know what? Of the top 10 guys, when you look at guys like Stafford, when you look at guys, Lamar and all these other guys, I mean, he is less battered and younger and has proven more than some of these other guys like a Lamar, like a Herbert, like all these guys, especially in the playoffs. The kid does it when it matters. And if you want to ding him in the Super Bowl because he didn't quote unquote win the Super Bowl, listen, every time he left the field, they were winning.
I don't
Bottom line, the Niners, yeah. But I'm saying the Niners defense let us down. I think the Niners defense is going to be rock solid this year. Solid did a hell of a job last year. Robert, I salute you. Best of luck in Tennessee. But I think the Niners defense is going to be sneaky good this year with Raheem and these pieces. If we can just hold duct tape, glue, and baling wire, if we can hold this defense together, man, we're going to be sneaky good.
Dude, I think
that's all I got for you, Faithful. Love you.
Dude, I think a lot of people just hate on Brock because of his draft position, and they don't like to see these. They want to see these first round guys who come in the league with cannons and can throw the ball through, a brick wall. Listen, and when you see these guys that are lower draft picks, they just
breaking news said he's done more in the playoffs. Check, he's right.
But you said 5-2.
You said less battered. After this year, that might not be the case. That offensive line is garbage.
Hey man, he still takes less sacks than all the other top tier quarterbacks. Even if you want an apples to apples comparison, if you look at Mac Jones behind the same offensive line last year, call it mobility, call it escapability, call it whatever you want. Brock does what he needs to do to try and keep himself healthy-ish, because we all know he has problems with that. But man, you know what?
Almost died.
Yeah, I just want to. I'm going to leave you guys with this one final thought, man. The Niners have a lot of pieces in place to make this a really good season, right? Health be on our side. But John, if you're listening, and if you're not, Parag, whoever's listening, because we all know you listen to our show, go get Max Crosby. Go get Max Crosby. We need a difference maker. Go get him. Go wreak havoc on these other slow Matt Stafford. I mean, come on, Crosby, you should be licking your lips, man. All the quarterbacks in this division, Kyler Murray's gone now. Every quarterback in this division, Sam Darnold, Matt Stafford, like he might end up with 15, 20 sacks this year. Come on, Crosby, time to go eat, baby.
I'm not letting you get out of here on that positive note. There is no good season for this franchise that does not end in a Super Bowl. So it can't be a good season if we don't win it all. But with that being said, we had an hour and a half. I got some shit off my chest tonight. I might feel a little better tomorrow, but what's up?
Breaking news. Hey, look, they better go holler at Dr. Dre or one of these producers out there and tell Max Crosby, hey, look, we got this mixtape. Hey, baby, we got these beats out here. Hey, look, we got
the one thing we got going for us though is, like we said, we already know Max Crosby wants to be in the Bay. He's made that abundantly clear. He don't want to be out there with the desert and the slot machines. He wants to be in the Bay, baby.
Get that boy a 2 mixtape.
I agree with that.
One studio album deal. Hey, look, and let that boy come out here and be like, look, you can make it. You can in the offseason, you can make as many tracks as you want. We got you ready to go.
And as good as Crosby's been, think about this as well, boys. As good as Crosby's been, when has he ever played with anybody on that defensive line as good as Nick Bosa and Osadigizua? When has he ever been single teamed? Like the one thing that everybody gives, he's not as talented a pass rusher as Myles Garrett, but he has the most tenacious work ethic of any defensive end in the league. The dude does not stop.
We don't need as talented as Myles Garrett. As long as we get somebody like a Max Crosby, we'd be all right.
Listen, you guys sold me. Give up our first. I don't care if it's a first, conditional second, whatever you got to do. Give me Max Crosby. So the next episode, I don't have to see Corey in all black and basically only able to talk to LG. Make it happen. Let's get this done. Rick, man, we got that coming up.
Yes, sir. With that being said, let me get y'all up out of here because my time is almost 11 o'clock. So breaking news, get us up out of here.
Keep it short and sweet. I just want to start by saying much love to all the people that have been tuning into the show, providing the comments. We do read them, even the ones that we don't see during the show, we look at after the show. Appreciate all the comments, that feedback, the interaction. 49er Faithful is the best fan base in the nation. They're Not even close. We take over everywhere we go, whether it's a podcast or a stadium. So I just want to say much love. As you guys know, because most of you are probably watching on YouTube, we are on Executive View. That's our flagship, if you will. We're on all the major networks, TikTok, YouTube, X, all that. So check us out. We have not only Niner content, but if you like basketball, you like wrestling, you like anything, we got it.
Yes,
Bye,
sir.
boys.
Yes, sir. LG, get us up out of here.
Hey man, I echo what Breaking News said, man. Hey, look, hey, I'm one of them type of people. I told y'all, man, I'd have been to a Seattle Seahawks game popping Skittles, man, in my Niners gear. Hey, look, if you're a fan of football, pull up, man. We chop it up. Hey, I have no problem with other people from other fan bases checking us out. And if you're from the nation, man, pull up too. Hey, we want to hear what other people got to say too. We don't want to just have all opinions on it. We notice the three of us, we have all three opinions. You see my opinion sway back and forth. So yeah, definitely pull up. Everybody's invited to the show. We're not saying this is only for Niners fans, but it is a Niners podcast. We're gonna give y'all our view. Of course, I'll be back on tomorrow on the main show. Corey, you'll be on doing wrestling on Wednesday,
Yes,
man.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
look, I check it out. Shoot y'all boys some stuff in the comments. And like I always say, man, always a pleasure. Hey, and keep rocking with us. Turn on all your notifications so you know when we on. And I'm out.
Hey, everybody that checked us out tonight, we appreciate y'all. All the comments, like Breaking News said, we see them. We try to interact with them, but if we miss it during the show, we definitely see it. After we done, we go back and look. So we appreciate y'all. Faithful, we definitely appreciate y'all. Check us out everywhere, like Breaking News said, Spotify, X, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, at the Executive View Podcast. That's our channel. So appreciate y'all. Tune in tomorrow for the All Sports Show. If you a fan of sports, they gonna cover it. Anything big in the world of sports, we gonna cover it. Wednesday, Backstage Business. If you a WWE fan, come chop it up with us. We gonna talk that wrestling talk, and we'll see y'all next time. Until then, bang bang Niner gang.